Anyways, it was a slap in the face. And I was like, you just insulted my chapter. Why did you do that? And she was like, oh, I didn't insult your chapter. I didn't do anything. And I was like, no, you did. You did insult my chapter. And so I took my autobiography back. And I said, you're not going to read anything if you're going to insult my work when you're the one that asked to read it first. And so she's like, well, I didn't mean it came across that way. And was really snooty with me. I was like, that's not called for. But I ended up letting it go. I was like, I don't want to cause any more drama. I'm just going to let it go. So I did. I let it go. And I walked out of the classroom to go to lunch. On the other hand, she decided to spread it around like a piece of, like some butter on a freaking piece of toast. Just spread it all over the place. And start just talking to people about how I got all worked up that she said something that didn't seem right to me. I mean, I have every right to feel that way. That is my work. That is my writing. Okay? I am extremely passionate about my writing. And of course, if you insult it, I'm gonna take that as it is, an insult. Anyways, it was a huge, just another huge slap in the face when she started doing that. I was like, what is your problem? And then I was like, you know what? Never mind. Don't even answer that. So I just kind of let myself cool down for a couple minutes, and then she started talking to me about something else. The reason why her mom married her stepdad. Now, to me, that's an interesting topic for knowing her so long and seeing how he acts. Now, he's the kind of guy that yells at you for eating the scrambled eggs you didn't know you weren't supposed to eat. Okay? He's the kind of guy, okay, get this, he actually keeps, like, garlic bologna in the bathroom. I've understood. I don't know. I didn't even know they made garlic bologna. But anyways, he's awful. He is completely awful. I was like, oh, you found the reason? I'd like to know. And she's like, well, my grandma actually told my mom to marry my stepdad. And I was like, does she have some kind of brain damage? I mean, since when does your grandma rule your mom's life? And since when is he a good guy to marry? I mean, some of you are probably sitting there going, brain damage? Why did you say that about her family? And I was, I'm sure you've said that, something to that effect at some point, okay? I'm sure that in total shock of something, of just someone saying, like, the stupidest thing that you just don't get because you've seen what they're talking about, and you're just like, why would you say that? That's like the stupidest thing ever. Where's the reasoning behind that? Exactly, where's the reasoning behind that? That's what I was asking. I was like, not getting it, so I was like, fill me in, what's the reasoning? Only in a much more possibly rude and surprised fashion. So I was like, does she have some kind of brain damage or something? You know, and she was like, no, he wasn't always like that. I was like, really? So did he just get all pissy once they got married or something? And she was like, yeah, I guess so. But yeah, so we moved on to another conversation. Don't remember what it was. But she walks off and talks to some other friends while I'm sitting at the lunch table with our other friends, just our group that sits with us every day. And one of her friends comes over and goes, why did you insult her family? I automatically was like, what? You know, I never directly insulted her family. I was like, what? And I was like, whose? And she was like, Gabby's. And I was like, I didn't, excuse me. Not hers. Ha! I did that today in PE too. Austin knows what I'm talking about, don't you, Austin? But anyways, yeah, this girl's, here I am trying to save myself, but, I was like, oh, well, I never directly insulted her family. And the girl that's talking to me goes, well, that's what she said to me. And I was like, oh, okay. So Gabby, there I go again. Anyway, she sits down. The girl that we're talking about sits back down at the table. And she goes, well, yeah, I was just talking to them about that, and I was like, I mean, after I asked, and I was like, yeah, I never insulted your family. And she was like, well, you kind of did. You called my grandma stupid. And I was like, I actually asked if she had some kind of brain damage, but you know, I mean, we're sarcastic with each other all the time. She knew that that was my way of asking, is her grandma, like, trying to be crazy here? Because we both don't particularly like her stepdad, okay? I mean, she has to live with him, and I have to hear about him. So, we don't like her stepdad, and she should have gotten the sarcasm, but instead, here's where my mental click comes in. Instead, she gets mad that I said that she insulted my autobiography and goes and twists and manipulates a little tale of her own. Okay? This is where things get kind of hairy. Because I'm like, you know what? There was nothing that provoked that to manipulate it and just lie to other people so they'll give me crap. There was no reason for that. So, under my breath, or I might have just been a little overworked, so it probably wasn't under my breath, or at least not as under my breath as I meant it to be. So I was like, you know what? Don't be a bitch. Don't be a bitch. And she heard me, and she was like, you know what? You don't be a bitch. And I was like, I'm not being a bitch. I mean, I probably was kind of sounding like it at the time because I was a little worked up, but I had a totally valid point, and I have a bunch of people that can back me up on that. I was like, you know what, whatever. So the bell rings, I go into my next class, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I just kind of tried to forget about it, and I just sat there, and I read Breaking Dawn. I love that book, Breaking Dawn. But, in the Twilight series, you have to read it. But I sat there reading Breaking Dawn, and I just kind of tried to forget about it, and I did. So I got to 6th period, and I walked by Gabby. There I go again, completely sorry. Walked by this girl, and I sat back down. And, guys, I'm running out of time again. I'm gonna have to start another clip. But, I sit down, and about 5 minutes into the class, my teacher comes over, and she hands me a little pink slip that says Angelique on it. And I'm like, I'm not Angelique. And she goes, oh, well, just go down to the office. They told me that to give you this. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I take the slip that says Angelique, and I go down to the office, and I sit there, and I'm like, I'm not Angelique, but I got the slip, and my teacher told me to go anyways. So the principal walks in, and she goes, oh, I recognize you. Yeah, you're the girl that I'm supposed to have in here. So I'm like, I'm getting called into the principal's office? What's going on? I mean, I had no idea what was going on. This girl has never done anything like this before, so it was totally like, I don't get why I'm here. I mean, I had no reason to think that I was there because of that. So, hold on, I gotta start a new clip.